All right, welcome to the Fantasy Football MBAs. That stands for matchups, breakdowns, and analysis. We're going to help you graduate to Fantasy Football Champion. It's your boy Steve here, and I am joined by
G. Campbell online.
and
Okay. Thanksgiving edition.
hey,
Give him.
yeah. Actually, this is post Thanksgiving edition, but this is the leftovers. You know what I
This
mean?
is the leftovers.
This is the
This the
leftovers.
turkey sandwiches of fantasy football. Nice.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, this is part 2 of week 12. We're gonna go ahead and get started, man. EJ, why don't you get us started?
Yeah, so I got the Titans and the Colts. This I think is going to be like one of those hard fought games. Like, I think they played 2 weeks ago, and I think you're going to get much of the same. It's going to be a close game. Um, and what I would say about this week on the side of the Titans, obviously, still play Derrick Henry, but you got to be careful with that one because they gave Aaron Jones hell last week. He still scored a touchdown, but I think he had like 40 yards. So you got to play him, but like this Colts defense is no joke. Aaron Rodgers actually played decent against them, but I think their passing game is going to struggle because Tannehill, as good a season as he's had, he's no Aaron Rodgers. If you are going to over AJ Brown, and that's if you're feeling a little lucky. When they played 2 weeks ago, he actually had a decent game. AJ Brown was terrible in that game. He caught one pass, so they seem to have his number. On the other side, we talked about him last week. This was one of the times I actually hit last week. Michael Pittman, I would play him.
Yeah.
I think he's Phillip Rivers' favorite target. And he just seems to be he's trending in the right direction. And I think he is a better football player at this point than T.Y. Hilton. I'm just going to throw that out there.
That's not a far reach, brother. You preaching, you ain't reaching.
And then another area where we were both right, Nyheim Hines goes back into fantasy irrelevancy.
We called it.
Out of nowhere, Taylor, all of a sudden, he's back in their good graces. I'm not falling for it either. I think he just had a good game. I just don't like Colts running backs at this point. I don't know who to trust, but I'd play Michael Pittman out of all their players right now. How do you guys feel this week?
Yeah, I'm going to be a crazy man this week, man. I'm going to do something crazy. And I'm going to start Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. Maybe because I have him in I dropped him in a couple of leagues, but I still have him in 4 leagues. So I don't have much of a choice. But I think I am going to start him. I like what I saw last week. They went against Green Bay. They were losing to Green Bay. And the way they came back is just they ran the ball. They gave it to Jonathan Taylor. I think he reminds me, in a sense, at times like Melvin Gordon, in a sense that he's not very efficient, but if you give him enough carries, he can get you to the promised land. And maybe they realized that last week. So I'm willing to give it another go, but as a flex.
Yeah. I like Michael Pittman, man. He got that dog in him. For him to be a rook, man, he got that dog in him. He fights and scratches and claws. He dives and he plays reckless. And I like it. I like it.
I hear you, bro. Yeah, man.
All right, moving on. We got the Panthers and the Vikings. And I just want to say, like, if you would have told me, like, at the beginning of the year, like, Panthers and Vikings would have so many good, like, fantasy players, like, especially, obviously Panthers, you think McCaffrey, but man, like, the last few weeks, like, their receivers, I mean, I'm playing all 3 of them this week. I'd play DJ Moore. I'd play Curtis Samuel and Robbie Anderson. I looked at the game they played last week. They all had at least 9 targets. And I see them throwing the ball again. I like the way PJ Walker was playing.
I kind of liked it too.
He was pushing.
That's a good story, man.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I mean, he went out there, he pushed the ball down the field, and he gave them a chance to make plays. And I don't know, I'm kicking myself because I gave up too quickly on Curtis Samuel. He's ending up
I don't blame you. I don't blame you on that one though.
than I thought. And then just on the other side of the ball, I guess the big news this week, I'm still developing Adam Thielen on the COVID-19 list. So he might not suit up this week. So I think that's going to be huge. I mean, Justin Jefferson has been good with him, but I think he's going to have a huge game. Like, I think he's already hit 100 yards like 3 or 4 times this year. And I think I would not be surprised if he went for like $130 and a touchdown against the Panthers. And I'm gonna say I would play Kirk Cousins again. He was
okay. I don't know about that one.
He was 300 yards, 3 touchdowns last week. I'm rolling with. They seem. I think, and here's what it is. It's not so much that I believe in him, but their team has such good balance that I think it gives him the illusion of looking good.
Yeah.
That's just my belief. Like if you could hand the ball to Dalvin Cook and you got 2 studs at receiver, yeah, I mean, I might be able to go out there and get you 250 right now off the couch.
Okay.
All right. We'll take you up on that, bro.
I'm just throwing that out there. I might be able to come off the couch and 2 receivers like that and Dalvin Cook running the ball. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, this game has Dalvin Cook written all over it. He's been on fire. He's unstoppable. And we all know the Carolina's defense cannot stop any running back at all. As someone who has Dalvin Cook, I wish this was like a week 15, a week 16 matchup because it would be glorious. But yeah, he's going to kill it. If Thielen doesn't play, Irv Smith, he could see some extra targets as well. If you're, desperate for a tight end, that might be a look if Thielen can't go. That's all I got there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Next game. Moving on, Cards and the Pats. On the side of Arizona, I'm sticking with the usual suspects: Kyler Murray, D. Hopkins, Christian Kirk. And I think you could even play, Kenyon Drake this week. He didn't run well against Seattle, but he definitely adds value catching the ball out the backfield. So I would pretty much roll with their, main players. And then as far as the Patriots, just overall this year, they've been like a real, I don't know, like conundrum, disappointment, kind of everything in between. Their one receiver, Demir Bird, he had a good game last week, but I just don't trust him going forward. He's had 4 games where he's had less than 40 yards. And last week was the first time he caught a touchdown. So I don't trust any of their receivers. And I'm just going to come out and say Cam Newton. I'm not going to say he don't have it anymore because I still think he's got
some tough, man.
He's got football left. It's a shame what the Panthers did to him. I think he still has some football left in him, but I wouldn't play him, even though he had about 300 yards last week and a touchdown. I don't know. He seems to be going in the wrong direction. I just don't know how much he has left.
Yeah, if he was still in Carolina, man, it would be a completely different.
Man,
I know he's like, really though. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Go ahead.
So that's all I got on that one. And then last, really quickly, Dolphins and the
Jets. Hold on. My bad. I did want to note something from the Patriots and Cardinals game. One guy who I would start at the flex is James White. Rex Burkhead, he's gone. He's out for the year. Wow. We just talked about the struggles of the Patriots in the passing game. I could definitely see James White kind of just picking up. I mean, he is their best receiving back. So I could definitely see him getting some work there. Cardinals giving up a ton of points to the running back. So I could see, and they'll probably, the Patriots will probably, I don't want to say be playing catch up, but the Cardinals can put some points on the board. So they might have to lean on James White.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got there.
Awesome. All right. So going just over to the Dolphins and Jets real quick. On the side of Miami, Devontae Parker, of course, I'm playing him. And then I would play their running back, Salvin Ahmed. And he's doing his best Miles Gaskin impression. He looks the part. He's filling in nicely. And I still think Gaskin maybe has like a week or two, if he is going to come back and play. So I would keep rolling with him. And then another area where we were right, Joe Flacco came back to earth last week. But I still think you can play Denzel Mims or Brashad Perriman as a flex, just because I see the Jets losing almost every game this year. They're going to always be behind. And they're going to have to throw the ball. And I mean, those are the only two players that can really do anything. So I would maybe decide between one of them, and I'm leaning towards Denzel Mims. At least he looks like he's going to be a better player. So I would keep him like as a weak, flex option. If you have him, just because the Jets they might lose every game this year.
They will.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
that's all I got on that.
Yeah, I refuse to talk about this game.
Yeah, man. It's bad there.
Next game.
It is bad.
What you got, T. Campbell?
All right. So we got Cleveland and Jacksonville. Obviously, Cleveland's defense is, pretty stingy against wide receivers, having only allowed 4 receiving touchdowns in the last 6 games. Their rush defense has also been strong and having given up rushing touchdowns since week 6. In this game, Nick Chubb is coming in averaging 6.1 yards a carry since returning back. Jacksonville has allowed 100 yards in nearly half their games this year and 7 touchdowns to the wide receiver position. So Jacksonville, last week on the show, we said if James Robinson could, have some fantasy relevancy against Pittsburgh, we put him in the upper echelon category. Now, he didn't ball out, but he did have he didn't score a rushing touchdown, but he did have a double-digit fantasy day, which isn't bad against the Pittsburgh defense. But nothing else in Jacksonville seems bankable. But Robinson, even going against an 8th-ranked defense in Cleveland, a run defense in Cleveland, I see him having another decent outing because there's really nothing else going. Even if it happens as a cumulative junk time effort, I see Robinson doing well for them. I don't know if I see him with a rushing touchdown, but he probably still will have, 70, 80 yards, maybe 15, 20 yards receiving, and put up another 10 to 13 points fantasy-wise. So in this game, I'm looking for James Robinson. Nick Chubb will eat like it's Thanksgiving. He's going to this will probably be a 200-yard game for him. 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. He might throw a touchdown. Who knows? I actually like Baker Mayfield in this game, Rashard Higgins, and Kadaro Hodge. Everybody's just going to go to town on this Jacksonville defense, and this is going to be a game where, as a Cleveland fan, you're like, hey, man, I'll take it. Yeah.
They in the playoff race, man. They up.
Right. No, but I'm saying, it's like, I know we beat up on a bad team, but hey, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man.
All right. Next up, again, looks like Pittsburgh and Baltimore is going to be playing on Sunday afternoon as of right now. Don't really know, so that's kind of on the second half of the slate. But next up, we got New Orleans and Denver. We are witnessing the birth of the Taysom Hill era in New Orleans.
I think
now. albeit it happened as a result of an injury to Drew Brees. But keep an eye on his performance through this stretch while Brees is out. And I'm not saying Brees is going to get benched and is done in New Orleans as much as I'm saying Brees is never going to play again in New Orleans. If he balls out, man, they're paying him, I think, $51 million over the next 2 years or something. You know, they're paying him really well. They bought in James Winston as a security blanket just in case it didn't work out. I know it's a small sampling size. I know it was the Atlanta Falcons, but he just seems to be offering another element in New Orleans that they haven't had. He's an athletic quarterback that can just do a lot of things, and he can throw, man. So, you know, during the game last week, they were talking about his career in college. He had, I think, 3 or 4 season-ending injuries every year of his college career. So he never was able to finish, but even doing so, Taysom Hill was balling in college. Last week, the Saints defense gave up a lot of yards to the Atlanta wide receiver core, but it's the Atlanta wide receiver core, right? But they still didn't give up a wide receiver touchdown, though. The Saints pass rush destroyed Matt Ryan, 8 sacks on the day. The Saints are allowing only 74 yards a game to the running backs, and the Broncos are allowing 121 yards to the wide receiver. All that numbers means it's a matchup nightmare for Denver. That's what I'm saying. All that is to say that. I don't like any of the Broncos pass catches in this game. Drew Lock turned in a no touchdown effort last week. I expect more of the same this week. Lock will have some success throwing. He'll get some yards, but I don't know if I see him throwing touchdowns. I see maybe some. If he does, it's going to be like some swing pass, something like Melvin Gordon or something like that. Mm-hmm. I do see Melvin Gordon getting involved in this game. I like Taysom Hill and I like Latavius Murray. Something is going on with Alvin Kamara. I don't know what it is, but Murray is seeming. It's like he's showing me enough. It's like, yo, if they give him more touches, he can be even that much more effective. He just runs so upright, man. It's weird. It's weird looking at him. He's like running like this.
Like Michael Johnson. You remember Michael Johnson? Like,
yeah, man. It's like man, like get low man wins. But you know, we'll see. Yeah. But that's what I got on this one.
Okay. Yeah, man. Drew Brees, this is his last NFL season of his career. He is not coming back next year, especially after the injury he suffered this past week. I've been watching him this year, and because it seems like all of their games are on TV. Mm-hmm. Look like he's ready to retire.
It's been like 4 games. You're not lying. It's been
like he looks like he's ready to retire. So I really think that they really, really want to see what they got in Taysom Hill.
Right.
And so far it's looking pretty good. So I definitely think if you did pick him up as a tight end and now he's a quarterback, still hold on to him as a quarterback.
Right. Absolutely.
Because he will definitely produce for you. Kamara is nursing foot injury. They're not talking about it too much, but so I do think that Latavius Murray will continue to get some activity there.
So I gotta ask both you guys. I'm fighting for my playoff life in the league that me and Steve are in together. And second running back slot, because I have Jacobs in one slot, so he's good. And then I've had Eckler and Gaskin who've been out for a long time. So I pick up Duke Johnson. He's not doing anything, but he's the starter. So this week I picked up Latavius Murray. Now, like, the thing I'm struggling with, like, Murray had about 85 scrimmage yards last week, as, sharing that with Kamara. Mm-hmm. But, Duke Johnson, he's the starter right now. Who would you guys play this week?
Murray.
Yeah, I think I would roll with Murray just because he's actually shown us something.
Yeah.
And Kamara is hurt. So I do think that Murray will still continue to get the opportunities. That's a tough one though, because I know Duke won't have any competition.
Yeah, you want him to, but it ain't gonna happen. The Denver
trust it. Yeah.
the Denver rush defense doesn't give me any pause. Even if Kamara is a go, he's going to be on a pitch count. Murray's going to get about probably 10 to 15 touches this week, man. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good on Duke Johnson, man.
I think I would roll with Murray too.
All right. Next up, let's see. We got the Rams and the Niners, I believe.
Yep.
All right. So the Rams defense hasn't allowed a running back to breach 60 yards, but once in the last 6 games. They shut out Russell Wilson last week. The week before last, held Tom Brady and the high-flying Bucs offense to just 24 points. And that's with all their weapons being in the lineup. 49ers don't offer any fight, like the Seahawks of Tampa Bay had on the offensive side. And so this plays right into the Rams defense. San Francisco hasn't been good against the pass. They have 6 touchdowns to the wide receiver in the last 3 games, man. They have fared a little bit better against the run, keeping opposing running backs to about 70 yards per game so far. In this game, I like all of the Rams wide receivers, aka Woods and Cooper Kupp. I like Rams defense and Jared Goff actually in this game.
Okay.
I don't like Henderson in this game, just simply because even though San Francisco hasn't really had much of a defense, they've been middle of the road, and Henderson is not an elite back. And they still don't know. Henderson may not even be the guy. I'm saying his name, but it could be whoever. They rotating on the carousel. Whichever animal on the carousel comes up, that's who's going to tote the rock. And none of them are elite. But I think San Francisco offers enough against a run defense for me to shade or fade any of the Rams running backs. So give me Cooper Kupp, Woods, who balled last week, and the defense and Jared Goff.
Okay, I don't know about Jared Goff, but
and
I understand he has to pass it to the receiver in order for them to be good. But
it's going to be a lot of yak. It's going to be a lot of yak.
Yeah, a lot of yak. I like that.
A lot of yak.
I can see that.
Pouring up that yak.
Yeah, no, I gotta apologize to Robert Woods. I doubted him.
Man, hey, listen, man. I think a lot of people did, man. So
I can see,
rightfully so, though.
Yeah,
I can see why he's got that C on that captain C on his chest, because that man, I was watching that game and I was just like, man, he's been producing the last few years, but when you go out there and, of course, just like a big game like that, where, it's going to really come down in the standings later in the year, especially in that conference, I can see why he's got that captain.
Yeah, he did his thing. Yeah, I doubted him. I actually have him in 3 leagues, and I benched him in all 3, and I lost in all 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, next we got Kansas City and Tampa Bay. The Kansas City defense have been playing decent against the pass lately, only allowing 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games. But 3 of those touchdowns came in the last 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games, but 3 of those came in the last game itself. The Bucs have given up 5 touchdowns to the wide receiver in the last 3 games, but no rushing touchdowns in the last 2 games. Kansas City is a different beast, man. Tampa's defense is going to be tested in ways that they haven't been in a while. I like Kansas City in this game, just simply because, Patrick Mahomes. Now, Tampa Bay, I've said it here, man. I didn't think they were, a complete enough team, but they seem to be, getting into playoff mode, or, about 3 weeks ago, started to see them turn it around. And then after they signed AB, I actually think Antonio Brown in this game, or Antonio Brown has kind of messed up the chemistry. I don't know if it's him specifically, but they have so many weapons now that it just seems like they don't know what to do with them. Whereas, like the 2 weeks prior to him coming, they had started to click. In this game, they'll get everything that they want from a defensive standpoint. Kansas City will allow them to, pass the ball all around. I don't like Fournette or Ronald Jones in this game. Um, Somehow Gronk has disappeared again. I don't know if we saw the best that he had, that 3-week stretch earlier in the season, or if, they're saving Gronk for the playoffs like the Patriots used to do. But I like Tampa's wide receivers in this game. I like Kansas City's wide receivers in this game. Deebo Samuels looks to be coming back. Um, I don't like Le'Veon Bell. It hasn't worked out. I'm not, forget the name, just look at the numbers. I don't like it. Pat Mahomes is the best running threat they have in Kansas City, in my opinion. So in this game, I don't want Le'Veon Bell against the Tampa defense. I actually think this is going to be a lower scoring game from a Kansas City standpoint than most people think. Oh, it's Kansas City, they're gonna light it up. I don't think so in this game. I think it's going to actually be a contest where it's going to be like 24 points at the most that Kansas City is going to be scoring, because the Tampa front seven is pretty strong. So
I'm not mad at that. I actually do think Kansas City's gonna light it up though. So
oh, you do? Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm still rolling with the same people. I'm not gonna really pick anybody different, but listen, the Rams, they lit it up against them. And the Rams are not nearly as good as Kansas City. So
Right.
That's just what and the Saints lit them up too, honestly.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think there will be more of that.
More lituations.
More, yes.
Mm.
Yeah, no. And typically Tom Brady, we look at his career, games where he doesn't play his best, he doesn't usually string together 2 bad games. But
Mhm.
I don't think he's gonna play well in this one either.
I don't think so either. I think you got Steve Spagnuolo. He seems to have his number. So
Yeah,
I
think yeah, I think you got to wait one more week for his bounce back game. I don't like this game for him.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
them for the rest of the season.
Right. After this game.
After this game, I love all of them for the rest of the season.
Yeah. All right. Got Chicago and Green Bay. Looks like David Montgomery's coming off a concussion protocol, and it couldn't be in. Maybe it looks like he's going to go, and that couldn't happen at a better time for Chicago because the Packers have allowed a 100-yard rusher for the past 2 weeks. So they running back position has gone over the century mark 2 weeks straight. If he's like fully good and back, I see him. I don't know if I see him having a 100-yard game, but I see him being effective enough for the play action pass to be effective. Green Bay, they look good, but they just keep having just breakdowns at like really bad times in games, pivotal moments. Their defense just that bend but don't break defense that they have. It's just not good enough against the upper what seems to be the upper crust teams in NFL. I don't know if I trust MVS. He had a costly turnover in his last game. He's been playing better overall. Lazard doesn't seem to be fully back. But because he's there, it's kind of opening up opportunities for Marquez Valdez, Marcus Scantling. Yeah, that guy. MVS. Scantling Valdez or Valdez Scantling, whatever. Valdez Scantling. But anyway, so I guess I'll go ahead and say I like him. Give me MVS. Give me David Montgomery. Obviously, your leaders on the Packers team and Allen Robinson. Lastly, Seattle and the Eagles. This is about bounce back week for Russ and the crew. Everybody's going to have a bounce back on the offensive side. Chris Carson looks like he may go. If he's a go, don't hesitate. Just go in and play him. Don't play around with it, because he's just one of those guys that you'll hesitate to play him because he's coming off an injury, and you won't start him, but you might have picked him up and you put him on the bench. He's going to ball out on your bench against the Eagles defense. Play him if he's a go. If not, but keep an eye on it, because last week looked like he was gonna play, and it was a late scratch. So just keep an eye out to make sure that you don't need to pick up, because Hyde played well in his absence. Just make sure you're watching that. If Hyde's available, and you have a roster spot, I would pick him up just in case he doesn't go. If he's available, in case Carson doesn't go. But I like the usual suspects on the offensive side of the ball. I actually like the Seattle defense this week, and that's rare. I haven't liked Seattle's defense at all this year. But the Eagles they aren't a good team offensively, and they're getting pieces back, Sanders, but they don't have a wide receiver, that I would be so afraid of. They're pretty one-dimensional. So I don't like anybody on the Eagles side. I don't like the defense. Goddard kind of is having a rebirth since coming back. I can go for some Goddard. I would go for some Goddard in this game. But I don't want Wentz. I don't want anybody else really on the Eagles side.
I hear you. Yeah.
Do you guys think Carson Wentz? Do you think Carson Wentz is going to finish this year as their starting quarterback? Do you think they're going to let him play it out?
I think they are, because they're still in the playoff picture due to the division that they're in.
Right.
And every time Jalen Hurts, every time he gets on the field when they do a play, it seems like he fumbles the ball every other time. So he is not helping his situation. And I think because of that, I think Wentz is going to stay on the field. I do want to apologize to the viewers, because I thought Wentz would have a good second half of the season. I thought with people getting healthy again that, they were poised for a run, but it's getting worse and worse.
It's bad.
I'm starting to think it's at this point it's up here. Just with some of the mistakes I've seen, they've looked really, really bad. I am
to your point, though. I mean, they still have something to play for, which is
still have something to play for. I am going to roll with Dallas Goedert in this game. I'm scared to start any receivers at all. On the Eagles side.
Right.
Seattle side, I'm starting all of them. Chris, on the note of Chris Carson, remember they played a Thursday night game last week. If they played a Sunday game, he probably would have played. So with them playing on Monday, I think is a very, very good chance he plays.
Yeah.
I have Hyde and Carson in a league. I'm not dropping Hyde until I hear Carson has done 3 full participant, practices, but I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah, man. It's tough. I mean, the division leader, the eventual division winner for the NL East may have 5 wins, 6 tops.
Crazy. That's crazy. And like 4 of them will be against other teams.
Right. Within the division.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. That division is so bad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, man.
All right. Well, that wraps things up for us for week 12. This is part 2 of our 2-part starts and sits. Make sure to tune into part 1. Also, make sure to follow us on social media. We are on Twitter and we are on Instagram at Fantasy Football MBAs. Make sure to like and subscribe so you can continue to get notifications. You guys got any parting words here for week 12?
Nah, man, just, again, this is after Thanksgiving, guys. So just be careful out there this holiday weekend and, take care of yourself and those that are close to you.
Yeah, everybody stay safe. All right, well, until next time, we'll holler at you later. Peace.